sit there now, so once you're ready to go, give me a ring, then I'll sign everything off.
Okay. Is this just online?
In-house too, that's me for the sorry. I looked over and like,
Ready when you are.
Comms, everybody, but we're up and running and ready to get this clash between Pivot City and Kingston, which is well and truly underway. We're just late.
We've got Exie jamming for Kingston, and Exie has lead as well.
you're both on.
A directional penalty there for Pink 2-7. Achilles wheel.
So Kingston then taking the early lead with 12 points. Pivot City with just the 1 point. Good opportunity. We will go through both team rosters as we set ourselves up now for jam number 4. Coming through into turn number 2, jamming for Pivot City is number 7-6, that's Pixie. Nicely done, gets on through, pick up lead, Jammer. And jamming for Kingston is 2-2, Screw Lucy. Back now slowly getting into turn number 3.
Kingston Pivot heading to the bin there.
Nice hit then, 5-1 there for Pivot City. Melbourne Head, unfortunately though, picking up a penalty, so a trip to the penalty box. Nicely done, Pixie taking to the inside part of the main straightaway to get on through and added another 4 points. So this jam for Pivot City's turning out to be a very handy one. Just what they were looking for in terms of squaring up the scoreboard. He's done more than square up the scoreboard. It's a very nice jam indeed. Currently sitting on 16 points and a lead change for Pivot City. Pack now coming into turn number 2. Kingston up front trying to get that ascendancy with the triangle and the defence to try and stop Pixie. And nicely done though, just getting those points there for Pivot City.
So 16 points there for Pivot City. Oh, no, sorry, 20 points for Pivot City and 4 for Kingston. So our scores are sitting at 21 and 16.
So the two jammers on track. 182 in the pink jamming for Kingston is Mayhem. Jamming for Pivot City is Bianca.
Very quick, short little jam there, called off by Mayhem. Strategic move. The other jammer was gotten around and in front.
Push forward to the pivot line and then draw back once the whistle's gone. 9-1, Murray Fury out front then for Kingston, doing all the solo blocking there, nicely done. Stretching out as far as possible before being called out of play, in which case the skater then has to return back to the pack and yield and let the jammer go.
Of course, some excellent bridging work there as well, trying to keep everybody in play and in pack.
1-3-3-7, it is.
The pack. Another tumble and calling it off. Very short, sharp jam sessions. No points for anybody.
Got a feeling that this one is going to go down to the line. Both these teams so evenly matched. Fascinating to see who can get the ascendancy and take the win. As we get jam 8 underway, wasting no time. Nicely done there. 182 Mayhem jamming in the pink for Kingston. Looks like 2-2 jamming for Pivot City. That's Bianca. Unfortunately though, a visit to the penalty box. Kingston now on a power jam. Oh, big hit there into the back of one of the Kingston blockers there. Amanda Chaos. Lions, Murray Fury. Code, the blockers there on track for Kingston.
Unfortunately, a couple of the Pivot City blockers picking up penalties there. One was a forearms, not sure what the other was. Pivot City's jammers back on track, but Kingston jammer May has called that off.
Yeah, that tactical move there from Kingston. Once May knew that the opposing jammer was through the pack and potentially could skate around and score points. Jammers in that scenario not call it off unless the game is close and you'll be trying to get points yourself. So the blocker advantage then going into jam number 9 is firmly with the skaters in pink. 469 Exie is the jammer now for Kingston. Just got the one blocker in Dakota blocker out front. Gets through nicely. Lead jammer going the way of Exie. Gets support too from a very healthy crowd here this morning. Round 2, statewide stampede. Bendigo is where we are at. Oh, nicely done. Just one skate there for Exie and Nicely done there, calling it off. Not before banking 4 more points. And we have yet another lead change. Kingston on 39, Pivot City on 23.
Still very early in the game. I feel like there could be some lead changes both ways with these two teams today.
We've already seen around about 3 or 4 Beck, so I support your theory very much. There is a heck of a lot to play out in this game.
Screw Lucy jamming for Kingston and has made it through the pack to collect lead. And Beasting jamming for Pivot City is also through. Now coming through for their scoring pass. Bit of a tumble.
It's back now. Trying to navigate its way through turns 1 and 2. Unfortunately though, at the back of the pack for Beasting, with a bit of work to do, the Kingston blockers, as I quite often say, giving Jam plenty to think about. But nicely done, Beasting gets on through. That's 4 more points for Pivot City. And the jammer there for Kingston Screw has seen enough. And with that, calls off the jam. Back in Bendigo Beck. Beautiful sunny Bendigo day. Not that we're going to see much of the sun because we're inside all day, but you know, it is what it is.
Jam number 11 underway now. We've got Pixie skating as jammer for Pivot City. Just trying to get eyes. May is skating as the jammer for Kingston. Coming up against 2 very strong Pivot City Rangers blockers there.
Oh, nicely done there. Pixie just, before entering the pack, just turned and went in back first. You don't see that often. But nicely done, picking up 4 points on that previous pass.
I know, beautiful.
Oh, unfortunately.
I was about to say a beautiful apex jump,
Yeah, unfortunately.
but mustn't have quite landed it.
Very still something that we couldn't see. So it is now Power Jam for Kingston and May. So good opportunity there. Oh, big hit there. Number 8, I think that is for Pivot City. That's Ray Scar. Ray has been around for a long time and knows how to derby, make no mistake. And May is finding that out in no uncertain terms. The cavalry, though, for May is arriving in the form of the offense, trying to break up this Pivot City defense. Just when May gets through one blocker, there's one more to go. Melonhead then, the lone blocker out front and gets through the pack. Oh, Pixie just comes back on track.
Bit of jammer on jammer action, that's
And says
always
to May,
good.
Hi, I'm here, I'm back.
Just making sure that May knew that Pixie was there, I think.
Alongside me have Beck. Back on the mic again. After taking a bit of a break, I'm going to be on the mic a bit more because I'm injured. I have a knee that says I don't want you to skate anymore. So, team rosters. Let's start off with Kingston, the team skating in pink.
I can do that for you. I've got that in front of me. So for Kingston today, we have 1-2 Crush, 1-3-3-7 Lime of Your Life, 1-4 Code, 1-8-2 Mayhem, 2-2 Screw Lucy, 2-4-6 Nothing But Trouble, 2-7 Achilles Wheel, 3-5 Carnage, 3-6-9 Smiley, 4-1-9 Commander Chaos, 4-6-9 Exie, 5-4 Bash, 7 Bam, 8-8 Raf, 9-1 Marie Fury, and that is the end of the team timeout.
When we get another pause in play, I will go through the Pivot City lineup as we get set for jam number 11.
We've got 2-2 Screw Lucy for Kingston. And 2-2 Bianca.
All the twos.
The scoreboard operators will be loving that.
Nicely done then from 2-2 of the Kingston variety. Screw getting on through. Lee Jammer is going the way of the skaters in pink. Not to be outdone though, Bianca also getting through the pack, but the instruction coming loud and clear from the bench for Kingston to call that off before Bianca can do any damage on the scoreboard. So we see then 1-8-2 Mayhem jamming for Kingston and 2-3-8 Beasting jamming for Pivot City. So 4-6-9 jamming for Kingston. It is Exie Lee Jammer going the way of Kingston. Unfortunately for Green 8, Ray Scar to trip to the penalty box. That just leaves Dakota and Melonhead, the two lone blockers for Pivot City. But that said, nothing but trouble. 2-4-6 rejoins back on the track. As did Mad Pixie, but Exie was more than awake to that and called it off.
Exie managing to collect 4 points in that jam. Unfortunately, a 0 for the Pivot City Rangers. I half expected in that last jam for Pixie to actually get out as lead, but obviously that forearms penalty occurred in the pack.
2-2 Bianca, 2-3 Hale Skate, 2-3-8 Beasting, 2-4-7 Turbo Curvo, 2-9 Ra, 5-1 Melonhead, 5-2 Slam Hale, 5-7 Rock, 7-6 Mad Pixie, 7-8 Blizzard, and 8 Ray Scar. Inside part of turns 1 and 2 for Screw. Picking up Lee Jammer, as I said, the initial pass is done. It's all points from here on in.
Some excellent work happening on track by both teams. They're blocking. Unfortunately, a forearms penalty there for the Kingston Pink 9-1. It's Marie Fury. And it looks like we might have a cut track penalty as well, unfortunately for the Pivot City Jammer, Bianca. Having a bit of an Oprah Winfrey moment of penalties. Everybody's getting a penalty.
That's it. That's not phasing Screw too much because on the previous pass, it's another 4 points being added to the Kingston tally there.
Very nice, 15-point jam then.
jam number 16. And he's beasting, jamming for Pivot City. Can't quite see the Kingston jammer. It is
I think
Mayhem.
it's Mayhem. Doing a wibbly wobbly move around turn number 1 there.
It was nicely done by Mayhem to pick up lead jammer. Straight.
What we can see happening is lots of offense from the pink blockers to help get their jammer through. Pivot City doing a fantastic job. Look at that bridging work. Pushing it all the way out, right until that out of play call.
That was Turbo Kerbo there for Pivot City, stretching out as far as legally possible until out of play is called. And that skater must yield. All the action then coming through turn 2, Beck, right in front of us. And number 8, Ray Scar, giving Screw not plenty to think about. Screw working to the inside, working to the middle, just trying to find a gap or a seam in which to work and try and push through, but the Pivot City blockers up front are having none of it. At the back, beasting. Again, also being held up by the Kingston blockers.
2 incredible blocking triangles happening right now. Both jammers having to work so hard.
Got 3 very strong blockers with Kingston. You've got Code, Bash and Murray Fury. All of those, well, 2 of those 3 skaters have been skating for a long time. They know exactly what to do in terms of holding up an opposing jammer. And you're getting a first glimpse of that.
Turbo Kerbo doing some fantastic bridging just a moment ago.
Oh, big hit, Ray Scar on the Kingston jammer there, Screw to the inside part. Well, I was going to say the inside part of turn 4, but not really. They're on the main straightaway now, so that doesn't phase Screw too much. And both skaters have a bit of a pat on the back and a bit of a hug there. So those 4 points then for Kingston, moving them along to 8.
It's just nice and open, and Lime was able to clear on through, collect points, call it off. Jammer's dreams.
Indeed. So the blocker advantage at the start of this next jam is going to go the way of Pivot City. As we see the 2 jammers on the jam start line, it is Beasting and Mayhem.
Pivot City blockers coming back then to surround the Kingston blockers. Bash holding up the jammer just before. Mayhem's now out front and has gotten through to collect lead. Beasting working their way through, finding a very strong Kingston wall there.
Trying to find some territory to the outside part of turn 2 for May. May just work, although Pivot City blockers have been pretty good in holding up May. They saw that opportunity as well and shut it down. Now another time out. We are indeed. Pivot City have called a team timeout, so just going back on what we were touching on before, the statewide Stampede tournament has a bit of a break over the course of June because we all head to Adelaide. Most of the teams here today skating will be heading over to Adelaide for TGSS, which is a tournament that happens over in Adelaide at the showgrounds there on the, or was the Queen's birthday long weekend? Now it is the King's birthday long weekend. And it is a massive tournament, some 50 plus leagues from across Australia and New Zealand will converge on the showgrounds and battle it out for TGSS glory, I guess. Of course, while that tournament happens, State One Stampede takes a bit of a break. Big shout out to all the fans at home that are watching online. We thank you. We trust that you are enjoying today's action. There's plenty more action to come. So we get Jam 20 underway. Bit of a tumble there on the main straightaway. 2-2 jamming for Kingston and picking up lead jammer. It is Screw. 7-6. Jamming for Pivot City. It is Pixie. Mad Pixie just puts the Jets on. Oh, nicely done to the inside part of turn one.
Mad Pixie making a mad dash to grab some points, just as Screw was calling it off. Did it work? 1 and 1, one apiece.
It did work indeed. That's the first points there for Pivot City in quite a little bit. So they move along to 43. Kingston though comfortably out in front at 97. But as we both know, Beck, things can change in a heartbeat in roller derby. 182 then jamming for Kingston. It is Mayhem. Looks like 2-2 jamming for Pivot City. Bianca.
Yes, it is. Communication happening between skaters on track and their benches.
Two blockers down here, absolutely going for it. It was smacker on for Pivot City and Commander Chaos. Kind of exchanging blows as they were coming into the back straightaway. Penalty box is cleared of skaters, so we have a full complement of skaters on track, which is what we want to see. Bianca picking up 4 points then for Pivot City. Unfortunately though for Bash, it is a trip to the penalty box. So with those 10 points, and Kingston move along to 107. The 4 points then for Pivot City. They move along to 40. Great, all done and dusted. Both teams now back out on the track, having a bit of a yarn to one another. How you going? Oh yeah, not bad now. Yeah, not bad.
How's your coffee, JR?
My coffee. If you have not got a coffee, I do recommend you visit the coffee van that we do have in the stadium today. Their coffee is very, very good.
Mine is delicious. It's
Got
very
a
good coffee.
dirty-
I did. I got a dirty chai.
A dirty chai.
It's very yum. While I was over there, I also had a little look. There's some very funky earrings over there as well. Might need to come home with me.
They probably won't come home with me because I don't have my ears pierced anymore. Anyway,
We could change that.
we could.
All right, first jam of the second half about to start. Blockers are eager. Jammers are eager. Jammers are low.
And straight off the bat, we are going to an official review. I believe that has been called by Kingston. So I don't know if you want to make your way out on the track to find out whether you're going to move quicker than I have. I've got a dodgy knee which says I'll maybe run it.
Well, I haven't cleared that with head ref, so I like to always clear that with the head ref beforehand. Some head refs are happy for commentators to come out and listen. Some head refs prefer you not to. So, having not actually checked, I might be cautious and remain here. But obviously, Kingston have called the official review. Chops is their bench coach over there. He's obviously seen something that he didn't agree with. And he'll be very articulately stating his case and what he would like to see come from that. Now, the refs will gather, they'll have a chat, who had eyes on whatever the incident might have been, and then the team will either win their review or lose it. Generally, they'll call a review, a team will call a review, and they'll be looking for a penalty as the outcome.
So for any Derby fans that might be here or watching online at home for the first time, teams have the ability, power to call an official review, and it's usually something that has been seen by the bench manager that maybe the refs hadn't. They're allowed to, I guess, for want of a better way, they're actually allowed to question that by virtue of calling an official review. Each team has one official review available to them per half. Now, should that official review work in your favour, you retain that. If it doesn't, and the referees decide that no, there's nothing to answer for here, you lose that official review. So that's what's basically happening now in the middle of the track. The referees having an in-depth discussion. So no doubt they'll break soon with an outcome. We'll try and get that. But as Beck mentioned, some head referees, unless you have approached them prior to the game starting, just walking out the track and announcing yourself in an official review is not always the way to go. 5-2-8-4 is the head ref now, so that's just been the outcome now just being relayed to both teams.
No penalties have been issued, so I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe they lost their official review.
No, I'm just looking at the scoreboard there, and at the very bottom of the Kingston City rollers, you'll see there's a little dot and it's flashing.
And that has now disappeared, so they lost their
So
review.
Kingston have lost their review. So we'll get Jam 2 underway. 1-8-2. Mayhem jamming for Kingston and getting lead. Jam at 2-2. Jamming for Pivot City. It is Bianca. Back now coming through turn number 2. Blockers from both teams doing a pretty good job in trying to hold up the Jammers. Unfortunately for Limes, 1-3-3-7 for Kingston, picking up a forearms penalty, so it's a trip to the penalty box. Commander Chaos, Code, Bash are the 3 blockers are waiting for Bianca in the middle part of the back straightaway. Nice hit out there from Codes, the recycle, almost back into turn 2 there for Bianca. While that was happening out front, 1-8-2 Mayhem for Kingston is getting a lot of points here on this jam. When I say a lot, it's 20, so that's a fair old jam there for Mayhem and Kingston. With that 20 points, Kingston move along to 127. And just a 12 points then for Bianca. And Pivot City, they move along to 63.
Looks like we've got Exy jamming for Kingston and Mad Pixie jamming for Pivot City. Mad Pixie getting through, collecting lead. A penalty there for a Kingston blocker. Exy getting through nicely. Pixie utilising a teammate there to stay in bounds. Just coming here in front of us on turn 2 just a moment ago.
Yeah, Mad Splatter there, number 05 for Pivot City, ended up being almost a truck and trailer sort of scenario for Mad Pixie. I don't know that Splatter was all that aware of what was going on, but more than happy to accommodate.
And of course, anyone that's new to Derby, you can of course use your own teammates, grab hold, grab shirts, grab arms, but you cannot grab hold of the opposite team.
No, that's a bit of a no-no.
That'll get yourself a forearms penalty.
You will indeed. Nicely done, Exy then on that previous pass, using some territory to the inside part of turn 4, which equates to another 4 points for Kingston, not to be outdone. Also Mad Pixie picking up 4 points on that previous pass.
Looking across at the scoreboard, it looks like we had a 12-point jam for Pivot City just then and an 8-point jam for Kingston.
Beasting and Screw, the 2 jammers on the jammer start line to get jam number 4 under. Oh, nicely done, Beasting, wasting no time. Lead jammer going the way of Pivot City. As the pack now coming through turn 2, making their way down the back of the back straightaway. Nicely done there for Pivot City and Beasting. Just picking up the 1 point. Not to be outdone, Screw for Kingston picking up 2 points.
Oh, false start there. And a cut track penalty for Mad Pixie, unfortunately. Exy also collecting a penalty.
So it is a power jam then for Kingston. Nicely done. Mayhem getting through the 4 Pivot City blockers, mind you. 4 very, very strong blockers.
May just checking in with the bench, getting some instructions there on what the gameplay is going to look like. dancing around that outside line there. Sorry,
Yeah,
JR.
trying to. Dakota Blocker saying, no, I'm not going to allow that. Out in the front there for Pivot City. Unfortunately for Dakota, it is a trip to the penalty box right at the end of that jam. Of course, the action back continues after this game. We have TRV taking on the hosts Dragon City. Should be an absolute belter of a game. Jam 6 it is. Then we have the two 22s, Bianca and Screw.
And a strategic call off there. I must say I'm enjoying the both teams' uniforms on track and the combination of the pink and the green.
It's nice.
They've got fantastic uniforms, both of these clubs.
Into jam number 7.
Screw.
Kingston on 140, Pivot City on 76. So it's just the 64 points splitting the two teams at the moment. Smagaron taking Screw Lucy to the inside part of turn number 2, but unfortunately also picking up a penalty in the process. Beasting jamming for Pivot City.
I held my breath for a second then.
I
didn't know whether we were going to have a visit from a jammer.
Beasting was coming straight for us, but managed to pull up just at the nick of time. So 2-2 Screw jamming for Kingston. The lone jammer out on track. Nicely done using the centre part of the entry point into turn number 3 to get on through the pack. And thus bringing about 4 more points to be added to the Kingston scoreline. They move now along to 148. Pivot City remain on 76.
Of course, Kingston have called it off there, leaving Beasting in the penalty box, sorry, which means they get a power jam start.
Not going to be easy, Beck, as I look across the track. And the 4 Pivot City blockers on there, I would not want to be facing that. Oh, big hit. That was a huge hit. Right off the bat there. Number 8, Ray Scar for Pivot City. Letting, I think that looks like Limes. Jamming for Kingston is indeed.
It is Limes. That's what I was pausing. I was trying to figure out. Bit of a rub of the backside there, taking a tumble. Of course, we're playing on a concrete floor, so it's probably the most unforgiving surface we can play on.
I'm trying to call it off there, but unfortunately, there's a forearms penalty involved before that happened, so it's a trip to the penalty box for Limes. And the roles are now reversed. Beasting the lone jammer on track, so it's a jam, a power jam now for Pivot City.
And of course, losing lead means that this jam will go for the full time. So this is a really great opportunity for Beasting to collect some points. Kingston blockers working together really well there.
Kingston blockers are doing a nice job. 1-4 code, the recycle on Beasting back into turn number 2. Straight away, Limes coming back onto the track, and it is met solidly by 3 very, very strong blockers. You got Dakota Blocker, you got Melonhead, you got Turbo in amongst it there. But nicely done. Just finding some territory to the inside part of turn 2. Limes gets through, and it's another 4 points then for Kingston.
And we've now had a star pass as well for Pivot City. So
It's Melonhead now.
Melonhead is the recognised jammer for Pivot City,
And just like that.
just as the jam's called off, unfortunately.
So with that jam, the lead extends now. 72 points between the two teams. 155 Kingston, 83 Pivot City. We have 2-2 Bianca Jamie for Pivot City. 182.
And I think it's Mayhem for Kingston.
So Bianca it is, the lead jammer. As the pack now exits turn number 2. Looking for and finding some territory to the inside part of turn 2. Nicely done, Mayhem, 4 points Kingston. Bianca though with a little bit of work to do, just out the front of the pack. Getting through those remaining 2 blockers of Kingston. Also picking up 4 points. Both jammers trading blows at the moment. Nicely done, Bianca to the inside part of turn 3, picking up the 4 points. And Mayhem just picking up that solitary point. I'd like to give a shout out to the vendors here today. We've already touched on the coffee before. We'll cover off a few more at the end of this jam. So Beasting and Screw, the 2 jammers on track. Nicely done. Beasting picks up lead jammer for Pivot City.
A multiplayer penalty there for the Pivot City skater 2-3. Hale Skaten, unfortunately.
We also have the taco van here today, Beck. So for those lovers of all things tacos and Mexican style food,
Oh, that's exactly where I'm going as soon as we're finished here.
they are very, very good. And their food is exceptionally good. Look at this though, for Melonhead and Pivot City. Lead jammer.
Big smile on Melonhead's face as she came around turned 2 here. Oof.
So it is Mayhem, 182, Jamie for Kingston.
And a multiplayer penalty there, unfortunately, for Ray Scar. Melonhead calling it off. 3 points Pivot City, 2 points to Kingston. So 198 to 166. Sorry, 198. Wow, I just got a bonus
That was
100
a huge
points
lead
from me.
change. That was a massive jam.
Pivot
Better.
City 98 to Kingston City 166. I think my brain just broke a little more. Oh, and I spy with my little eye. Or something they tried to do something over there, but I won't say what.
So Bianca is the jammer for Pivot City and Screw the jammer for Kingston, but unfortunately for Bianca picking up a cut track. So power jam in for Kingston, and Screw takes full advantage of some territory to the inside part of turn 2, gets on through, 4 points Kingston.
Marie Fury just taking a Pivot City skater across to the outside line there, try and make some room for their jammer.
comes Code, Commander Chaos. 4 very strong blockers, not to be outdone. Ray Scar. Mad Splatter. But to name a few, blocking for Pivot City, also very, very strong. Nicely done then from Screw on that previous pass. It is 4 more points, and that'll do it as far as Screw's concerned. I've got my total of 12 points. With that, Kingston moving along to 178 and Pivot City on 98.
Nice little cuddle between jammers before the start of this jam.
Absolutely. So Kingston stretching the lead out now. My maths is any good, around about 80 odd points.
Exy jamming for Kingston. Bit of a hit out there and being dragged right back to the back of the pack. Not what the jammers like, having to make their way through again.
At the front of the pack, it is Beasting jamming for Pivot City there, Beckham. Being met very, very solidly by the Kingston blockers. A tumble there, a few skaters.
Roller derby skittles, if you will.
That's it.
Blockers just taking a moment to set themselves up.
As the pack now finds itself in turn 4, and that's where we're going to leave the action in that particular jam. 3 points in from Pivot City. That takes them over the 100 mark.
Now they have 100.
They do have, now they have a.
Now they have 100.
Before,
I was just
when they were on 98,
making
they did not
prophecy.
have 100. Back in 98. And looks like we're going to have a team timeout that has been called by Kingston.
Of course, all of our wonderful refs breathe a little sigh of relief, because it means that they can stop and have a drink of water and check in with each other as well.
City also taking the opportunity, the 4 blockers and the jammer there remaining on track, having a bit of a chat. There are some things that you wish that you would never have to confront, and as I look across the track, there are 4 blockers there. If I was a jammer, I would not want to confront that at all.
But it's fun.
It is fun. But we have 4 very, very solid blockers in Dakota Blocker, Ray Scarf, Melonhead, Turbo is there as well. That's a formidable force.
Yeah, but you know it's going to be good though.
It is going to be good. It's all good.
And we've got Code, Bash.
Yeah, I think it's Murray Fury there on the inside. Interesting tactic though. Kingston really swarming in and holding in on this Pivot City blockers.
Pixie though, fighting her way through. Bash unfortunately picking up a penalty there. Pixie through, collecting lead.
Yep.
Screw at the front here, also making her way out of the pack now. So both jammers are eligible to start scoring points.
So Code at the back of the pack there for Kingston, just trying to upset the Pivot City blockers.
Bit of a tumble there for Screw right at the end, but Dakota from Pivot City after the whistle checking in, that's what the derby's all about. So 10 minutes left on the clock. We've got a few more jams to go. Number 15 starting out. Not going anywhere just yet. Who have we got? 2-2 Bianca for Pivot City. And May 1-8-2 for Kingston with lead.
And now Jam.
Yes. Oops. May coming through, collecting 4 points. Blockers all together and waiting there in turn 3. Ooh, bit of a tumble onto that lovely concrete floor.
Very sign of the Achilles wheel taking Bianca back to almost midpoint part of the back straightaway, but Bianca's now back up on skates and is immediately confronted with a wall of pink blockers in the form of Code. Oh, big hit then from Achilles to take Bianca to the inside part of turn number 4. So all the way back at the beginning of the entry point of turn 3.
All right, a little bit of confusion happening at the minute. So star pass was attempted. Obviously something about it was not quite right.
No.
So we could hear that one of the refs was saying, "You are not the recognised jammer." And then obviously it was passed back and the jammer has called that off. Screw Lucy, jammer for Kingston out the front here, making it through and collecting lead.
12:08, it is Makarov jamming for Pivot City. Back now comes to
Whoops,
into turn number 2.
bit of a skater versus ref moment there. Disaster Chief taking a bit of a tumble. He looks like he's all right though. Does happen occasionally.
Back now, just ever so slowly making its way down into turn number 3.
And we have had a star pass for Pivot City, which means that the pivot is now the recognised jammer, so that's Hale Skaten.
Skater now will be trying to get some points, which is exactly what Screw is doing for Kingston. It's another 4 points being added to the end of growing Kingston tally. That 4 points takes Kingston over the double ton. They currently sit on 203. So we're going to have an official timeout. No, we're going to have an official review.
Yep, we've definitely gotten an official review being called. Which incidentally, a number of jams ago, the Pivot City bench actually did go to call the official review, but they just missed the time because the jam just started. So again, as we said earlier, bench have seen something that they don't agree with. Usually they'll use an official review for their something that's happened for or against their jammer in the hopes of gaining a penalty.
So whilst we have this break in proceedings, scoreboard reads Kingston on 203, Pivot City at 115, so fairly comfortable 91 point lead. Kingston currently hold.
Looking behind me here, JR, I can see all the TRV skaters and the Chico skaters starting to warm up for their game, which is up next.
It is indeed.
That'll be a good one to watch.
Also a big shout out to our first aid crew here for today, Beck. First aid are so important to a game of roller derby. Without them, we can't actually play. So we do thank them very, very much for making sure all of our skaters, be that referees or skaters, players, participants, making sure everybody is safe. As I look across the track, I make eye contact with a gentleman who, I don't know if you want me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Bullseye, who is approaching the commentator's bench. It is Bullseye's 250 black and gold. It's Mayhem out front, Lee Jammer Kingston. Lee Jammer Kingston. JR's getting a little bit tongue-tied in his old age, I reckon.
Better have some more of that delicious coffee.
I will.
4 points there for Beasting. May having a giggle as she very cheekily just sort of stops and waits before calling it off just then. But has picked up 3 points. So we've got Screw, 2-2 in the pink, and Mad Pixie in the green, 7-6. Pixie zooming down that inside line.
As Pixie so often does. Doesn't need a heck of a lot of territory.
And continuing that zoominess straight through the pack, collecting not just the 1 point before calling it off, but again calling it off quite quickly because you can prevent the other team from scoring their points by doing so.
Yep. So with that 1 point back, we see Pivot City, they've moved on to 120, Kingston on 214. Some 90-odd points separating these two teams. 182 then jamming 4 and picking up lead. Jammer for Kingston, it is Mayhem.
And I think we've got 2-2 Bianca jamming for Pivot City in our 21st jam of this game. Little bit of a whip there
Yeah, nice
off Mad Splatter, which of course, as I said earlier, you can absolutely do. And it looks like we've got 4 points for Kingston, 0 for Pivot City. That scoreboard now reads unofficial score. We'll wait for that rolling whistle and that will mark the end of this game.
The jammer refs will just make sure that everything in terms of points has been catered for. As I like to say, making sure I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Master Chief there, the two referees are just having a bit of a chat.
Thanking the scoreboard operators.
Yep.
And it looks like we've got a final score there of 120 to Pivot City and 218 to Kingston.
So comfortable win then for Kingston. Very solid win. In fact, 98 points separating the two teams at the end of this one. And it's about that time where the fans get to come down trackside and offer up a high five to the two teams. Of course, up next on track after a short break, it is the host league, Dragon City. They're going to be taking on Team Regional Victoria, TRV. My name's JR, and alongside of me we have had Beck. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll get game number 3 underway shortly.